Hello. So I have a mosaic vision for today, and it's being inspired by Yosef, um, one of our um, internet Jewish friends. Um, Hello, Yosef. And if I ever get names wrong or labels wrong, please correct me. I'm not set on these names and labels that I use. I'm willing to be corrected. But the Mosaic vision has something to do with knowing God. I've been, I know God right now, and I've had help. Parenting, I am a parent. I have kids. Um, I am a child of God, and we are all like brothers and sisters of God. So parenting is relevant. And then there's this justice and judgment that Yosef encouraged a live stream of people on the internet that are connected in some way, an interesting way. But he encouraged justice and judgment, and he was playing with these words forgiveness and destruction, these ideas. And so, justice and judgment, my first instinct was to like try to translate this because our language is confused. And so I wanted to at first translate this into healing and learning. But even this felt a little off because, a healthy body and a healthy mind, is that what we're talking about here? And I think it's something, I think it includes that, but it's something more important than the body and the mind. And there's this word we can use called heart. And all I mean by this word heart is the thing which is connected to God. Maybe even it's called the soul. I don't know exactly what you want to call it, but it is the thing which connects us to God, which is within us, which is not the body and it is not the mind. And so, justice and judgment, which I attempt to do in my house with my wife and children, has its ultimate goal of transforming hearts such that it becomes God's heart. Like it becomes so close that it becomes one with God's heart, one with God. The love of God and the peace, that wholeness which can come from God, is known by the person. Now, how does forgiveness and destruction play into this? Well, with regard to forgiveness, what I found is that there's different ways of saying it, but you might say the way we were created, everyone is created with the capacity to know God. And that knowing God is the most precious gift available to any person. It is the most precious gift available to any person. That peace, that love that we can experience, that we're blind to when we're born into this world, but is available to us. That requires this forgiveness. So no matter these things we've done, the circumstances we've been in, God has created it within us that we can know God. And so this word forgiveness is connected to this, it's like an attribute of God and reality. Now that's in there. And then if I'm trying to be a good husband and father or a good judge within a court system or a good leader of a country, if I'm truly seeking this ideal justice and judgment, which leads people to having the most precious gift possible, then there has to be forgiveness, because I've known, before my heart was transformed, I've known what it's like to want to make people suffer for what they did to me. right? I wanted to, I had fantasies about killing and torturing and just all kinds of horrible fantasies. And I would not want to give them the most precious thing on earth, the most precious thing in existence. I did not want to give them that. And so to truly want to give the most precious thing that anyone can have and that everyone can have to the most disgusting people, the most disgusting enemy, requires this thing that we might call forgiveness. Now, what is destruction? Well, I wrestled with this one for a little bit. Destruction. At first I was thinking, well, that transformed heart, was there a destruction? The Gavin from 2 months ago or 2 years ago or 20 years ago is like, did that thing get destroyed? And it's more this transformed. So it's a reorganization of it. And so there is a subordination of it, right? So that it can appear as if the thing was destroyed, but was it actually destroyed? Even within the world, there's this law of conservation of energy and the law of conservation of mass. Like, even the physics of reality have this attribute of like, is anything ever destroyed? And it's like, when we look at the world, we see it, no, nothing is ever destroyed, but things are transformed and reorganized. And so how does, this, I would say that there is definitely a discomfort in the transformation process, because some reason we were, and it's like a blessing, I think, but sometimes there's blessings come with things that don't feel good. And so during that process of the reorganization of anything, it can appear like destruction and the loss of a thing. And it feels like the loss of a thing, and it can be miserable. There's things that happen that cause us so much misery because we're losing it. As we lose it, we became attached to this thing. We maybe even attached to it as one of the most important things in our entire life, and our whole world revolved around it, and then it's no longer there. And then how can you have peace there? Well, maybe you can have an attachment to something that's the source of it all, which is always there and which is perfect. And the experience of it it's like the most precious gift possible. And so, yeah, destruction is in there, but these are words we're just trying to make words to describe reality. Look at these words. What do they mean? There's an actual experience, which is the most, like, what it's like to cry, and what it's like to be miserable and afraid and angry, but do you know what it's like to experience unconditional love, the desire to give the most precious gift that you've ever tasted, to give it to the most disgusting people, the people you hated? Do you know what that's like? Do you know what that feels like? And from the outside, it can look irrational, but from the inside, you actually have been given an amazing gift. God at that point, because God wants to give this precious thing, and that precious thing is the gift of knowing God is the most precious thing. More precious than any other thing available to everyone. Thank God for that. All right. What do you think?